Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today we are bringing you the sequel to one of the best thriller/horror movies produced in, let's say, the last 10 years. This is Don't Breathe 2, starring Stephen Lang. And here's a quick synopsis for it. Blind veteran Norman Nordstrom has been hiding out for several years in an isolated cabin. He lives with a young girl and has recreated the family stolen from him by a drunk driver. Their quiet life together is soon shattered when a group of unseemly criminals kidnaps her. Okay, let's start off by saying, I love Don't Breathe. I remember going to a screening to see this movie. This movie was so well executed and so shocking. I was like, man, this is something that is needed. This is something that is amazing. Stephen Lang was amazing in it. Everything about Don't Breathe 1 worked. And when they told us that they were making a Don't Breathe 2, I couldn't wait. I'm like, okay, if we're going to continue with this character, this is a very interesting character to continue with because he is still flesh and blood. It's no Michael Myers or Freddy type of thing. This is a real person here. And if you can keep that execution up, this should be a really good movie. And then I watched Don't Breathe 2. And this could have been Rambo 6. I think it's 6 at this point. It's a lot of Rambo movies. But this could have been Rambo 6. This is not a Don't Breathe sequel. This is a Rambo movie. There is no thrilling moments in this movie. There are no horror moments in this movie. It's some gore in this movie. It's minimal to decent action in this movie. And a story that makes absolutely no sense. At times we wish, especially when we get to the modern day, what I consider the modern day horror classics, whether it be the original Don't Breathe, the It Follows, the Babadook, and anything in that realm of the modern horror classics. If you're gonna do a sequel, don't attempt to change everything that made the first movie work. Here, as we're introduced to Norman, Stephen Lang's blind character, and we see this little girl who pops up, and now he's the protector of the little girl after we saw him killing attempting to kill and impregnated at one point, if I'm not mistaken, a teenager in the first movie. Here, we see him as the ultimate protector of this kid. And we're wondering, like, okay, it doesn't make sense. Okay, now he's a good guy. He's protecting this kid. He speaks in a very graveled voice of a rugged Clint Eastwood character that's here to make sure that this kid lives, type of thing. And when we're introduced to him, and then we get introduced to this gang of hooligans that just comes out of nowhere, similar to maybe like The Strangers, not the good one, which was part 1, but the bad one, which was part 2. And they just come out of nowhere, and then miraculously it's because they need to kidnap this girl for a reason that I can't say because it may spoil the movie. But they kidnap this girl for what seems oddly a good reason, but yet and still they're the bad guys for kidnapping this girl for this reason. And when the girl gets in their possession, a stupid movie becomes unbelievably stupid. This movie, on every level, disrespects the original movie. I don't know who wrote this movie. I don't know why they made this movie. I don't understand it at all. It's like they took the same character that everyone loved from Don't Breathe and put him in a completely different movie and said, hey, we're going to completely change what we think this character should be to fit the mold of a revenge-esque fantasy type of film. And this movie is horrible. I can't even mince words. And here's the thing. Maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, or maybe it's not as bad if I don't compare it to Don't Breathe 1. It is still a bad movie, but compared to Don't Breathe 1, this is a travesty on so many levels here. It's no likable performances in this movie. And Steven, everything he does tends to be great. In this movie here, nothing good happens. It's a waste of time. Especially if you're someone who loved Don't Breathe 1. 2 was a waste of time. It's up there with like Poltergeist 2. Or, no, it's worse than Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's up there with some of the worst sequels to follow a great horror film. It is so disrespectful on so many levels. I'm attempting to give you all something positive about this film, and nothing is coming to mind. Even the daughter, the one who plays his daughter in the film, not interesting. I could care less anything that happened to the kid in this movie. I didn't care what happened to another interesting character they introduced, of someone who's taking the kid out to the real world so she can see around, very much like Rambo, the last one. I think that's Rambo 5. The last Rambo 5, where, it was this other girl he had taken in and to save her and all this other. This is bad. It's bad on so many levels. I'm not going to keep on saying it bad, because it makes it sound like I'm not attempting to review this film. What I'm going to say is the story is bad. The plot is executed poorly. The pacing of it, especially for this is a horror thriller, the pacing is off. It's paced closer to a drama than a horror movie. And even when we get the horror movie moments, or the big gory moments, or the moments that are supposed to make you be like, wow, none of them come across great. And if you watch Don't Breathe 1 and then attempt to see Don't Breathe 2 in any form, you're going to be highly disappointed. And you're going to be highly confused on how this movie was made and why it was made. But I digress. Don't Breathe 2. It is currently either in theaters or on demand. If you want to stay at home and attempt to check this film out because you love the original, out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Don't Breathe 2 0 out of 10. Wow, I had to think about that for a minute. This movie is a disappointment on every level humanly possible, and I didn't expect that. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect to be this disappointed by this movie, and it catches me off guard because, again, it's not a horror movie. It's not even a thriller. Like, it's a very cheap executed action revenge type of film, which makes no sense for this supposed sequel, because it's not a sequel. I refuse to believe this is the sequel to Don't Breathe. For the supposed sequel, nothing is good about this movie. I wouldn't recommend anyone watch this, especially unless you've never seen the first Don't Breathe, and this is your first introduction to this character. Check it out. I believe you may have a different perspective on the movie than someone like me, who sat through the first movie and absolutely loved it, and then had to sit through this movie and wonder what the heck is going on here. But check it out, people. Let us know what you think. Again, Don't Breathe 2, currently on VOD or in theaters. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.